The X-Men franchise. I'm going to do my X-Men rants now. I want to get them over with. So let's talk about the problems I have with the X-Men franchise, because these are the characters that got me interested in comic books. These are my favorite Marvel characters, and right up there with the Hulk. And I believe that the X-Men animated series is the best animated series that Marvel ever made. So let's talk about the 6 problems I have with the movies. Because when I saw that first X-Men movie, I thought it was a very good movie, but I also saw a lot of flaws concerning the fact that I am a fan of comics, and I really wanted some characters to be portrayed more closely to the comic, and they weren't portrayed as well in the comic, in the movie, as they were, as I hoped they would be. And there were some other things that I had problems with. So let's talk about my 6 main problems with the X-Men franchise. The costumes. The costumes are not all that great. You got black leather costumes mostly, and that's not all that great. When you look at the costumes in the comic book, very colorful, and it brings a lot of life. There's not a lot of life to black leather. I understand what Bryan Singer was going for. You want a uniform look to the X-Men. You want things to be very realistic. But at the same time, that's not all that lively at times. And it would have been nice to see Hugh Jackman wearing that iconic costume that Wolverine is supposed to wear. Unfortunately, Wolverine is on here. Oh, here he is, yeah. See? That's the costume. Right there. That's the costume I would have liked to see him wear. And they do show it in the Wolverine movie in a deleted scene. Unfortunately, they don't show him wearing it, and it would have been nice to see him wearing it in one movie at least. So that's one of my gripes, the costumes. Number 5, Juggernaut. I love Juggernaut. This is an awesome villain. They don't really give him the characterization that he has in the comic book. One of the main things about Juggernaut is he's not a mutant. He is a human being with magical abilities. He got his superhuman strength magically. He was Xavier's stepbrother. They don't even mention that in X-Men's Last Stand. What would he expect from Brett Ratner? He hated his brother. He hated his stepbrother, Charles Xavier. Kane Marco was a bully to him. And Xavier was able to defeat him and stand up to him. So Kane Marco, when he's grown up and finds this lost city of Sidorak, he finds this magical ruby, turns him into this unstoppable Juggernaut, and he wants to use this ability against his stepbrother and the X-Men. And the whole story around him and his character is awesome. The movie's never mentioned that Juggernaut's main weakness is, if you're able to get his helmet off, you can use a psychic probe on him and that'll defeat him. It would have been nice to really put some more character development to Juggernaut. Number 4, Westernizing a lot of the characters that should be having accents that should, because the X-Men characters, they don't feel diverse enough at times. And I'll say what I mean. Star Trek has a very diverse cast. You have Uhura, who's an African American woman. You have Sulu, who's Japanese. You have Chekhov, who's Russian. And Spock, who's a Vulcan. And it's a very diverse cast, and everybody is able to work together. The X-Men are kind of diverse, but they don't feel as diverse as they do in the comic book. And that really would have been awesome if Banshee was Irish. Moira Taggart, Scottish. Colossus Russian, which we don't get to see that until the Deadpool movie. And that actually works when you finally see Colossus in his Russian glory. That's just really awesome. Rogue is supposed to have a southern accent, and so forth down the line. The only one that got the accent from Bryan Singer's movies was Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler got his German accent, and I think everybody would have been even mostly pissed off all if they didn't give Nightcrawler the German accent he's supposed to have. So it would have been nice to see everybody that's supposed to have accents, get the accents they're supposed to have. The Phoenix Saga. Oh my. Everybody who loves X-Men would love to see the Phoenix Saga done right. There are a lot of things about the Phoenix Saga that has been done wrong. In the comic book, the Phoenix is this alien entity that possesses Jean Grey in order to help protect what is called the M'Kraan crystal, because they got this alien evil emperor named Deken who wants to use it to turn himself into a god and take over the universe. And you got this alien race called the Shi'ar joining forces with the X-Men to stop Deken. I can understand not bringing the Shi'ar in because you already have humans and mutants. Bringing aliens in would just make things even more complex. And Bryan Singer likes to keep things simple, so I understand that. But it would have been nice to see the Shi'ar, and it would have been nice to see the Dark Phoenix Saga done right, because the main antagonist in the Dark Phoenix Saga is actually the Hellfire Club, and we don't get to see the Hellfire Club in the X-Men Days of Future Past. So it would have been nice to see the Hellfire Club be used just like they are in the comic book in the Dark Phoenix Saga. But oh well. So it's a little bit of a shame how they did the Phoenix, because in the movies the Phoenix is let out because Jean uses Cerebro too soon, and she's not ready to use Cerebro, and that releases her Phoenix abilities. But I think they did the best they could with the Phoenix Saga in both X-Men Last Stand, and they did show the Phoenix in X-Men Apocalypse a little bit. Maybe one day we'll get a second chance to get the X-Men, to get the Phoenix Saga right. Number 2, Rogue. I hate Anna Paquin's portrayal of Rogue. I do like the fact that she's able to get the humanity of Rogue right. That I do like. What I don't like, first of all, she doesn't get the southern accent. Second of all, she doesn't feel as strong of a character. And I don't mean having the physical strength of Rogue in the animated series or the ability to fly. Because Rogue is a pretty strong character in X-Men Evolution, which is a series I don't like, and she's a very strong character in the animated series called Wolverine X-Men. In both of those series, she doesn't even have her power of superhuman strength and flight. She only has the powers that she's born with, which is the power to absorb other people's abilities by touch. So she's still able to be a strong enough character with just that ability, and that in the movies she has that ability, but she doesn't really feel that much of a strong character at times, really. But they did get the humanity of her right, and that's one of the things I did like about Anna Paquin's performance of the character. But it would have been nice to see Rogue be played by a different actress. Maybe in the future we'll get to see that. Maybe somebody like Maker Monroe or somebody like that. We'll see. And the number one problem I have with the X-Men franchise, the portrayal of Storm. And they finally got a little bit of Storm right in X-Men Apocalypse when Alexandria Shipp took over the role from Halle Berry, because Halle Berry sucks as Storm. She is not that great of an actress. I don't know how she was able to get an Oscar in Monster. She must done one hell of a performance in Monster, because in the X-Men franchise, she's not that great as Storm. Storm is a woman that has as much leadership ability as Cyclops, sometimes even more leadership ability. She's able to defeat villains without her powers at times. She was able to defeat Callisto without her powers in the comics. And they never really touched upon that when she fought against Callisto in the X-Men Last Stand. Well, they gave Callisto powers that she didn't even have in the comics. Some people don't like the fact when they change characters versus how they are in the comics as far as mutant powers are concerned. I don't mind it as long as it works with the plot, really. It all depends. Like, I mean, I didn't like the way they changed up Psylocke, and I'm glad they got Psylocke right in X-Men Apocalypse, but that's not really much of a problem. With Storm, Halle Berry never made her feel never brought out the strength of this character right, and she never showed that Storm is claustrophobic. That's something I would love to see in the movies done. And she never really felt like the leader that she's supposed to be, like in the comics, really. So I really hope I get to see more of the Storm that I love in future movies. Now that Alexandria Shipp has the character instead of Halle Berry. We'll see. So those are my rants about the X-Men franchise. And hopefully I'll be able to do a proper review once I get my computer back and have the green screen and everything. I know a lot of people love to see what I have to say about the Suicide Squad movie. I did record a review, but I need the editing software in order to do it, in order to make that review look awesome. So you'll have to wait for that review. Sorry.